in their own courtroom.
Because I'll defeat them. In this court, I'll defeat the federal government of Nigeria. Yeah, Jehovah will see it.
Is it already happening? A court case is actually not a war, but a series of battles of which you have to win majority to score a victory. So far, join me. Let us pass according to the court session's battles he has had to fight so far in this court journey. So as we go into a breakdown of each court trial to know how many battles he has won or lost, and if perhaps his prophecy is actually coming to pass. So as we go on, please take your time to like this video, give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you're doing anything, please finish it up, then come back to this video because you are not going to skip a bit once I start. Join me as I take you through all the battles so far. The first day of the trial, day 1. The trial resumed, and the prosecution presented new evidence and called masked witnesses to testify anonymously due to security concerns. Kanu's lawyer challenged the court's jurisdiction and the legality of Kanu's extradition, demanding dismissal of charges and questioning some evidence's authenticity. On that day, the courtroom was tense, with supporters watching intensely. The masked witnesses stirred debates about credibility. That first day marked the start of the accelerated trial phase, with sharp legal battles ahead. The takeaway from that day was that the stage was set for a tough legal fight focusing on jurisdiction and evidence validity. So on this first day, who scored victory? According to our findings, it was a slight victory for the prosecution, which is the DSS and the federal government. They won on day 1. That is the fact. And I have a video, I have said this before, that on the first day, the Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers did not come prepared on that day. And that was why the first day normally is like that, because get their facts and everything on ground. Or somehow they even needed to know what the prosecution had to offer. And that was why they did not really push forward on that day. And it was clear, as even I reported, that on that first day, Nnamdi Kanu lost that court case. So day 1 goes for the prosecution 1-0. On day 2, 2nd May, the prosecution continued calling masked witnesses, mainly security operatives. Kanu's lawyer cross-examined them aggressively, exposing contradictions and inconsistencies. The defense argued the witnesses were coached and unreliable. The defense team appeared confident on settling prosecution witnesses. So on that day, the session was key in undermining the prosecution's credibility. So the defense sharp questioning raised serious doubts about the prosecution's case. So on that day, who scored victory? Clearly, the defense team, Nnamdi Kanu's team, won on the day 2. A clear victory for Nnamdi Kanu. And you can see on the second day of the court case, they stepped up the momentum, knowing very well that the pressure was on, because they are aware that in a court case, you need to score battles before you can win the final victory. There is no way you can be losing, you know, everything is going against you. Then on the final day, you now come around and win. That is how it is. It's not done like that. So once you are seeing that things are going against you, you are scoring low, you are scoring low, and you are losing battles, you need to step it up. So on that second day of May 2nd, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers stepped it up, and it was 1-1. So a victory for Nnamdi Kanu on the second day. On the third day, for Nnamdi Kanu on the second day. On the third day, May 6th, 2025, the third day of the court, prosecution tried to introduce testimonies from the DSS operative again, from the masked witnesses. The defense objected, citing allegations of illegal detention and torture of Kanu. The court was urged to reject this evidence on human rights grounds. So on that day, there was tension in the court as both sides clashed on evidence ethics. Supporters on both sides energized by the defense stance. So that day highlighted the critical issue of human rights and legal ethics in the trial. And the defense successfully brought human rights concerns into sharp focus. So who scored victory on the third day? Clearly, it was a victory for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his team. Therefore, this is 2-1 Nnamdi Kanu so far. And this victory is very important because this should have been the day that they brought in those evidences from the dungeon. And I think that was the day that the lawyer countered the evidences, and the court had to reconsider, and it wasn't easy for the prosecution FG lawyers on that particular day. So that was a clear victory for Nnamdi Kanu, and this is a clear 2-1 for Nnamdi Kanu so far. Let's go on. The fourth court session, May 7th. So the court adjourned to consider motions on evidence admissibility and jurisdiction. No witnesses testified on that day. Both sides submitted further legal briefs. Supporters speculated intensely about upcoming rulings. Crucial pause that would influence the court trial that day was filled with a lot of pauses and everything. Everybody awaited the court's decision. So on that day, who scored victory? That day was a draw because the judge did not give any favorable ruling on any side on the trial after trial, because this was the day of the trial after trial for the judge to consider and know whether he's going to admit the evidence or not. So on this fourth day, the court was going into breaks. And finally, the judge adjourned for the day. So that day was 0-0 draw. That day was a draw. So the scores still remain 2-1 so far. 2-1 so far. So let's go on. The fifth day of the court case. This is May 22nd. Hearing on motions resumed. Defense pressed for exclusion of torture claims and confessions. Prosecution resisted. Kanu's lawyer emphasized constitutional protections. The courtroom atmosphere was charged in anticipation. Determined the fate of some of the prosecution's strongest evidence. So the defense framed the debate firmly around constitutional rights. So on this day, Nnamdi Kanu scored a resounding victory, making it 3-1. So Nnamdi Kanu and his lawyers 3, FG lawyers 1, and 1 draw. So let's go on. On the 6th day, which is May 28th, trial within trial begins. Special hearing to decide admissibility of contested evidence started. Both sides made detailed arguments and examined witnesses. Defense argued the evidence was illegally obtained. The defense was confident and the prosecution was very defensive. It was a make or break moment for prosecution's case. The intense legal battle over crucial evidence was highly underway. So on that day, on that particular day, there was no immediate winner. There was high tension on that day, no immediate winner. So it was a draw. So the scores still remain 3-1 with 2 draws. Let's go on. On the 29th of May, which is the 7th day of this trial, accelerated trial, the judge ruled key evidence, including DSS torture claim interviews, inadmissible, citing violations of rights and due process. The defense celebrated, supporters rejoiced outside the court. It was a massive blow for the prosecution's case and evidence base. It was a major legal victory for defense and shifts the trial momentum decisively. So who scored victory on that day? Nnamdi Kanu and the defense lawyers scored a huge victory on that day, making it 4-1 for Nnamdi Kanu and 2 draws. So you see how it's moving. So you see so far, there has been 7 battles fought in this war so far. Nnamdi Kanu clearly taking away 4, while the FG taking 1, and there have been 2 draws. So after that day, which is the 7th day, the judge adjourned the case to June 13th, 16th, 18th, and 19th. So definitely, as it stands now, Nnamdi Kanu has been on this session about 7 times, scored 4 victories in the battle, while the prosecution lawyers highest 1. Maybe if you can dash them another one, maybe if you check it very well, maybe if you can see another one that they might have nicked out of the 2 draws, okay, fine. So let me say 1.5 or 1, and Nnamdi Kanu having 4 clear days of him dominating the arguments in the court. That is 4-1. And looking at it so far, it is clear that Nnamdi Kanu's prophecy already is looking like it is coming to pass. And anywhere you go, people call Nnamdi Kanu a prophet, a prophet, a prophet. It seems as if this man is actually a prophet. You can't take anything away from him. Everything he has said about Nigeria, about his life, about people in Nigeria, about the politicians, and even about his court case, they are all coming to pass. You do not find such people in this world anyhow. And this is a clear case of a man who is inspired by the Almighty God. A man who has a vision, and the vision's time has come. A man who believes that Biafra will come. If anybody did not believe that Biafra will come before, this is the time for you to see it clearly. Because this man has a precedent of prophecy. And everything he has said, every has come to pass. But I'll keep on appreciating him for saying that Biafra is not violence. Biafra is non-violence. It is true self-determination, which is the proper channel to score any victory internationally. Because people have accused him of being violent. In fact, the court case he's having now is testament to that, being accused of orchestrating some high-level treason, terrorism, and other sundry charges, because people misunderstand him. And also, he is ethnically targeted. And that is why he is suffering, he is facing this trial today. But I know whatever he is, he's going to be remembering men around the world, great men who have been in this world, who have seen it all, great men who have passed through what he's passing through. Nelson Mandela, people who have spent donkey years, wasted years in the dungeon. But at the end of the day, even when they have left this world, their name still lives in the sands of time. It is one clear thing to know what your purpose is in life, and it's one clear thing to live a worthless life. Nnamdi Kanu is living a life well fulfilled. That even in the dungeon, his silence is louder than a microphone. I still call upon the Nigerian government, Tinubu, President Tinubu, the Chief Judge, Omotosho, and Tinubu himself, to find a way and drop all these charges and free this man immediately, unconditionally. Free him with compensation, his passport, and everything that was lost, destroyed in his home. His home should be erected back the way it was destroyed during the Python dance. Because definitely, Nothing you will do to bring back this man's life to where it was before. Because he has lost his parents. He has lost his precious mother and his precious dad. So you can't bring those ones back. But the best you can do right now is to release him. That's the best you can do. That's the best. Stop torturing this man. Stop it today. Let this man go. He has already won. Can't you see that the court case is already favoring him? Can't you see that there is nothing the prosecution are doing in that court? Look at it. How can Osama bin Laden, a whole Osama bin Laden, defeat you in court? Is it possible? It's not possible. But it's happening. You called Nnamdi Kanu and Osama bin Laden, but it's defeating you in the court. It's defeating. It's oppressors. So as we said in the beginning, is Nnamdi Kanu's prophecy coming to pass? Let me leave that for you to judge. So tell me in the comment section if his prophecy is actually coming to pass or has already come to pass about defeating Nigeria in their own court. Don't forget, on the 13th is Nnamdi Kanu's court day. Definitely will be here to give all updates as usual, hot and steamy. Please get ready.